and just completely naked, like just standing there and say, "Oh, can you help me put this on?" Like,
Who are you? What do you do? And why are you here?
yeah, that's a lot of questions at the same time. Yeah, I mean, I'm Tristan Juncker. I was born in Germany and Düsseldorf. Düsseldorf is very famous for, there's a lot of Japanese people there. I think
really?
It's the second biggest community of Japanese people in Europe.
Wow.
And so, I had an early touch with Japanese culture. I think that's how it all started, playing video games and watching anime, manga. I even could start to study Japanese at high school. That was very special. So I learned hiragana, katakana when I was like 16, 17. Got into it, and I think the turning point for me to like decide I moved to Japan was we had the chance to go on a student exchange for 1 month to Japan. And I, of course, took it. I was 18. It was the first time I came to Japan in 2010. And, I went to Japan and I was just completely blown away. Like, I, of course, thought, Japan is great, probably. Like, just because of manga and anime. But there's much, much more to it. Like, everything was just so good. The food, the people, it was calm, very safe, secure. People are very respectful, friendly. Like, especially the first time I came here, it was just completely mind-blowing. I could just mind my own business. Nobody would care.
First impressions count?
Yes, definitely.
First impressions count?
And then also, I went to high school here for like a month. And it was great. I was there. I was a bit exotic, standing out. Because there, everybody was Japanese. I got a lot of attention. It was fun.
When you came here to Tokyo or for exchange?
Saitama.
Saitama.
So we came to Tokyo, of course, to explore Tokyo.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But I was mainly in Saitama. Yeah. It's not too far. Yeah.
No. Yeah, I've been living in Saitama there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, for about a year. You basically fell in love with Japan when you were very, very young. And you decided to move here and to try a different experience here and to learn Japanese.
Right.
What do you do now? Why are you still here?
well, I mean, to just continue the story a little bit, to give some more background, of course, I feel, exactly, that's the point. Like, many people, of course, love Japan, they love anime manga, but it's not a reason to actually move here, stay here, build a life here. I think there's much more points that have to be, like, covered to make this. It's a heavy decision, of course.
Yeah, of course.
And I think there's so many, factors for that. For me, it was, actually, I started my first own business back in Germany.
All right.
And we invited, like, cosplay guests or voice actors to conventions in Europe to be on stage.
Great.
And to make, like, have fans take pictures together with them and get some signs. So that was my first experience with Japanese talents, like, using Japanese to call over guests to Europe, and also working with, idols or kind of talents, cosplayers.
Were you like, organizing like a part of the event or the event itself?
A part of the event. Okay. And the guest part, where I got in touch with them and called them over.
Like a meet and greet kind of situation?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
That's great.
And we also...
Good job.
Yeah, it was
That's
tough,
a good thing to do,
it's
yeah.
something, it's definitely good for the community, but it's not paying that well, and it's very tough, you have to take care of the flight, the hotel, everything, manage them, be with them.
Yeah.
It's very, very exhausting, but it was a good experience, for sure. And, I went to university. While I was at university, I still had my own business going on. I studied, economics, but then later on also East Asian society and economy and Japanese society. And that's how I got more in touch with that. Until the time that I had the chance to stay for 1 year in Japan at a university, at Hosei University in Tokyo.
That's when everything changed forever.
Exactly. That was the greatest time of my life. That 1 year at university, it was crazy, of course.
Okay.
It was so good.
What was the... I love to interrupt people.
Yeah.
What's the craziest thing or the best thing that happened to you in that year that you're like... You instantly remember that and you're like, yeah, that's why I want to stay forever.
Wow. One thing... I think it's the overall thing.
Okay.
Like, because I could...
The overall experience.
The overall experience. So I got a big scholarship, which made me, like, experience Japan maybe more than... Yeah, I was blessed with that. So I used that money, of course, to get a lot of experience, to meet a lot of people, to go to a lot of nomikai and hang out and, meet girls and maybe travel the country and eat a lot of good food. I was always into, of course, anime manga, but I also back in the days, I was very obsessed with idols, especially like, gravy idols. When I came to Japan, I could use the money to go to like signing events. So I actually met them. Actually, I have a couple of pictures I can show you. The first times I met like, the adult video stars like JV idols.
All right.
And it was like, it was a great experience for me back then. And it's crazy to think about that now because, we come to that later. But now it's my job to work with all of them.
Yeah.
But back in days, it was like, not even in my dreams that one day I would be the one, all these like big people. When I think about that back in the days, it was like, oh yeah, no way I would ever be able to do anything with them. But now it's like, oh yeah, that
like
person,
an everyday thing.
yeah, sure, like
we had lunch
again,
day.
Yeah, and
it's a guy talking online, sure.
Drinks or another shoes, oh, okay, sure, why not?
So how was that? Now that we're talking about it, how was that first feeling when you met that first idol that you really wanted to meet and you did it?
Yeah.
How is that realization moment?
It was great, especially because I could speak a little bit of Japanese, but then actually that particular idol could speak English as well.
Oh, nice.
So, we could talk, and she was very excited. Like, there were no other foreigners, obviously.
Okay.
It was like, oh,
all right.
I have fans around the world. I think, of course, you're awesome.
Yeah, she would feel like, wow, I'm worldwide, dude, holy.
Exactly. And that was great, also to see her, like, reacting to it and giving her present and just, meeting a person you like. I think it's like, with everyone. If you have like an idol or like, a YouTube star you follow or someone that you finally meet them and talk to them.
Yeah.
It's, of course, a nice feeling.
Yeah.
Can
I know who is it? The first one?
Yes, it was, maybe you guys know, it was Asami Yuma. Yeah, she was very big. I was a big fan of a TV show called the ABC Mascots show with Ogiyahagi and Gekidan Shitori and like, Ariyoshi. They were very like famous comedians and they had this ridiculous show. And she was one of, that was like the, it was, I was in high school, university. It's a longer time ago, but they were like Aoi Sora and, Yumasami and Yoshizawa Akiho and Kishino Ai and all these like, AV idols. But they had this like funny TV show and I was watching it to learn Japanese, but also to learn about Japanese humor and culture and it's great.
actually, that's a great thing to do when you want to learn a new language, by the way, because that's very important. Yeah. One of the great things that you can do is to understand the humor of that language, because that will give you so much context understanding when you go into that. Because to understand a joke, you have to understand like background culture that is underneath that joke to actually can appreciate that. Yeah. So that is a fantastic way to actually come into a new language.
And it's very different because like, for example, abroad we are used with like, satire, for example, or sarcasm.
Yes.
In Japan, no one...
Damn it,
in Japan, people do not know about sarcasm, for example. It's not something you can use to create a joke, the basis for a joke.
Okay.
Here it's more about ridiculing people, like making fun of each other and bringing people in very like embarrassing situations. Like these are the things that people laugh about here.
One of the biggest questions that people that follow us are always wondering is, what the hell did you study to be able to stay here?
Right. So one of the things is that if you're seriously thinking about living in Japan and working here, I think if you want to go for the working visa, it's basically mandatory to have some sort of university degree.
Okay.
Like that's like one of the main things they will ask for. Yeah.
Yes.
So the problem is you can have a university degree. You could of course marry a person here. Some people do that, but it's just for a very few selected people.
Yeah.
And you can, I think, if you're a bit older and you have 10 years of professional experience in the field, you can try to apply.
Yes, you can. So
it's like or you have like a lot of money and you can verify your visa through that money that you have for your investments and your business activities. But usually it comes down to, you study, you finish your studying. Or in my case, I was studying here for a year. So while I was studying here, I already, had like, recruiters, people I talked to. And one recruiter said, there's this position in this, anime goods, a big reseller company. Do you want a job in marketing there? And I said, sure. And then I met them and they were, satisfied with my Japanese and what I could show them with my activities in Germany with my own company. And they said, yeah, you want to work for us? And I said, sure, but, I have to finish my studying. I said, okay, we wait. So they waited.
Nice.
And then I had to prepare my documents. And usually you need, like, of course, your university degree. It has to be translated. That can be by yourself, I think, in English. It has to be in English if you're not, a native English speaker. And then in my case, I had the N2 level of Japanese. And most companies ask you for that. So I recommend you, if you're really serious about it, study Japanese before you come. Once you got the job and you got the visa, usually, if it's a small company, you will usually get like 1 year, a 1 year work visa. But if it's a bit bigger company, you might be lucky. You get 3 years, usually. 5 years, very, very rarely. I hear this just from one friend, but usually it's 3 years. And so you have to reapply every 3 years for the visa. During time, you can change jobs. You can tell them, you don't have, it's everybody says that, and the immigration wants you to tell them, but they know anyway. So even if you change jobs, the new job will apply for your, pension and your insurance. And when they do that, they will know, oh, this guy changed jobs. Yeah. But if you are jobless for a long time, they might ask you, oh, so
why?
Are you still making money? Because they require you to make at least 200,000 yen per month to get the visa. Yeah, because otherwise they'll think, oh, how can he pay the rent? He or she pay the rent, like live here. So there's like certain requirements. And for the working visa, basically that's it. So you once you have it, you can be here. You can just reapply for the working visa, switch jobs. So this is like, once you have it, it's a little bit easier. But it's still, the hustle and anxiety to still reapply every 3 years. It's very bad. Like, it really, depresses a lot of people. Like, everybody that lives here was in that situation. People go to crazy lengths.
Yes.
Like, honestly, as you talk, they marry people. They pay people $1,000 a month just to be married on paper, just to stay here. I even hear cases like this. Like, one girl, she worked as like a hostess. She was a foreigner, and she paid guys like a guy like money every month just to be like,
just to have the marriage visa.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow.
People do crazy things, It's just a story I heard. But I'm pretty sure this is real.
Your status right now in visa issue is resident visa, or are you still in a investment or working visa?
Well, now I have my own company.
Yeah.
So as a company, you can invest, as we mentioned before, between 3 and 5 million yen. I think 3 million was it, or 5 million. To invest 5 million, or you have like multiple employees, like Japanese employees, and then you can sponsor your own visa. But this visa you have to renew every year. So it's
yearly renewal?
Yes, 3 times you have to do
once
a year. If you have like a huge company, maybe they will give you more.
Wow.
So I wouldn't recommend it. Like, if
so it's not the coolest thing to have. I mean, you feel cool, but it's a pain in the ass at some point.
It's a pain, yes.
Wow.
But of course, you can sponsor your own visa, which is pretty cool.
Okay. So one of the biggest fears of people when they come here, they're still wondering, when you haven't done something and you wish from it, you start creating ghosts and stories and dragons that doesn't exist. But your mind make these things up. And one of the biggest things is, will I miss my family? Will I feel alone? Will Japanese people like bully me and hate me and eat me alive and discriminate me, and it's gonna be all a nightmare, and I'm gonna be alone in my room just eating noodles in the corner, and that's it?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, for me, no, but let him tell you.
I mean, for me, no too. But it really depends on the personality you have, because I can guarantee you, like, you will feel lonely at certain times in Japan.
Of course,
no matter how good your Japanese is or how you understand the culture, there's definitely those times, because Japan is like, it's a country where you go outside, even there's so many people, you feel alone. Nobody talks. Like, it's a different atmosphere, different vibe than probably your country. And of course, like, family, it's. For example, my case, like, I travel there at least once a year. Maybe they come over here, and then we're just like, Skyping or Zooming. So, like, somehow it works. But my parents also said, like, oh yeah, like, if I would be your age, I would probably also just
do the same.
To Japan. Because it's of course better. Just make it 1 point like very clear. Japan for me is the best place to be. There's no other place on earth I would be ever. Like, I can't even imagine it living somewhere else.
All right. So I think that feeling alone is something that's going to happen to you regardless where you are, because it's just part of, like, people. You're not gonna be happy every day. You're not gonna be excited every day. You're not have the best day every day.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, it depends on your mood. I'm a very happy person personally. I am a very positive and optimistic, so I usually have a good day every day.
Yeah.
But of course, you can feel sad, you can feel lonely, you can miss people, but you're gonna feel all that either if you are here in Japan with all this amazing stuff, eating fantastic food and living your dream. Or if you are 2 blocks in the left, in the right,
one car ride,
just in a different neighborhood, and you're gonna feel like, oh, I miss my mom, I wish I'd be there, I miss my dad, or I miss my sister or my friends, just because you move 20 blocks to the left. And it's gonna be the same thing. So oh yeah, but Sacha, I can take a taxi and go meet them, and you can Skype from here. So I think that, I mean, it should never be used as excuse, the fact that you're gonna miss somebody or feel alone. Just grow it up, right? Like if you're actually feeling like it's your dream, and if you actually feeling like it's what you want to do, I mean, you're not gonna be in your deathbed being like, oh, I wish I did less stuff, you know? You're gonna be like, I wish I did more stuff. So my way to go would always be like, just go for it, because in the worst case scenario, just go back.
Exactly.
Right? But at least you go through.
The things you didn't try.
I mean, at least you go through and you learn something new. You have more perspective, and now you can understand this is or is not for you.
Yeah, I mean, you know, definitely it's possible to make your dreams come true.
Of course. I mean, look at him. Is the dream come true?
It's hard work. It's a lot of, you know, also suffering and a lot of sacrifices you have to make along the way. A lot of them. But if this is what you want, you know, I would go for it.
just do it.
Definitely.
You know, like
just
do
it.
Exactly. Yeah. We're focused.
Make your dreams come true. Just do it.
To make it crystal clear, what is your current job?
Right. What we do is we are a marketing solutions agency. We do we work with Japanese companies and talents. The first ones were in the anime industry. So those figurines that you see, some of them are our clients. So we take videos and photos of their figurines, make English articles, do like translations for them, social media marketing, management, and promotions. This is one of the big things that we do. So basically,
you do it for Japan or for overseas?
Mostly for Japanese clients, but we also work with companies like, you know, Adobe or other bigger names like car companies like Nissan, Lamborghini ask us to do a job here. So we get, you know, jobs from international companies as well, but also we have our like model management, talent production going on as well, in combination with our YouTube channel that we built up for a couple of years now, where we involve them and make funny videos.
That's when he start laughing, and we all know why. But if you don't, go here and you check it out. Have you always wanted to work like in relation with models and stuff, or was like something that just happened because you were there in the right time and you were like, let's just ask him, why not?
In fact, I always wanted to do it.
Okay,
of course,
that's great.
as we discussed, you know, me going to those like signing events and meetings. That's where my passion started for like idols and Japanese idol culture. And there's so many types of idols. You know, there's the idols like AKB or, you know, like Morning Musume, the ones that dance on the stage. There's the idols that we mostly work with, which are grade idols. They do like, you know, pick up bikini girls style on like magazines and, you know, for commercials. And then there's of course like the AV idols, like, you know, idols that do adult videos. And there's also cosplay idols, and then there's maybe things in between where it's a little bit more sexual, but they do not do like adult videos.
Okay.
And
like erotic videos.
Erotic videos.
Okay.
Where maybe just the girl is in there, but it's like a bit more extreme to an end.
All right.
And we cover all of them.
You go okay. So you go into all the categories.
Basically.
That you just mentioned.
Yep.
What's your favorite type?
That's a difficult question, because like I can say it from a business perspective, from like, you know, I feel, for example, Grabar is great because it doesn't like cross the line, so it's like easy to get like sponsorships of fashion brands and do like all kinds of collaborations. Where of course personally I also of course like, you know, adult video idols. Like some of them I think are just amazing, and they also look gorgeous, and they have like nude photo albums, which is also can be very artistic, more nice,
the first time, because the first time is always a fun one.
Yeah.
So the first time
Yeah.
you have been in a set
Right.
with a one or a couple naked ladies over there. So how was the first time? How did you feel?
The first time.
How
it's like,
awkward was it?
It's like every first time. I was definitely nervous as fuck, like crazy. Especially the first nude shoot.
Yeah,
where the
that's
model was
what I mean, yeah.
completely naked. And definitely nervous, like,
Yeah.
oh, how should I, like, how can I ask her
you
to
do
do
the
poses?
shooting?
Yeah, I
shooting?
take the photos.
Oh,
I
right.
take the photos.
Holy. So, this maybe
yeah,
everybody
yeah.
don't know this, but that is his dream job.
Oh, yeah.
He just want to be a photographer of that. That's all he talks about for the past 10 years.
Maybe we can expand our team in the future.
Maybe we can do something.
Yeah, more models, more
Well, at the
work.
first time, it's more like I need to hire a photographer, or I do mine myself.
Oh,
I mean,
actually, it's a good point. Like, I'm not like a professional photographer. I know a little bit about it, but like I had to force myself to like learn more and
do
then
it.
just do it because we were just two people and we can't afford to like every
Wow.
time pay a photographer.
Yeah.
So okay, I'm the photographer.
Wow.
Definitely. The beginning, it was very challenging, like to balance that, still like be professional as
Yeah.
much as possible. Because of course I had the company, it was under the company,
Mm.
but of course directing, and this is this is so important because when you can speak Japanese, sorry I put this in right now,
Please,
but it's so
please.
important. Talking Japanese is just half the way. Because like even if you know really really good Japanese, like I have to talk to your business clients, then the models, and you talk different with all of them, and you also have to treat clients completely different than if you are the client of someone and use like very polite Sonkeigo Japanese. And even if you do all the talking and writing good, like you can do that, also behaving. How you appear, how you talk, how you bow, how you take your distance, like how you do everything. Because if you take a photo, you always would say like, "Oh, hi, ikimasu."
Wow.
And you get used to it. And I was maybe also very lucky in that situation because some of the models we worked with in the beginning, they were by themselves, very professional, very experienced. So they just knew, oh, I have to stand like this. All the poses they already did. So okay, I was like, okay, I'll just take, and I'll just say like, I'm going. And if I had a suggestion, I would say it. But usually, I would just take whatever they do. Now, of course, I learned a lot, and we did. Maybe you can bring some stuff. We had, for example, one of our models. We did like an official Gravia DVD with her. This is the first one. So doing this, basically, we had the model, and we had like a producer agent, and you go with the model and the producer to big like companies, maker companies like Takashobo or DMM, and then you suggest them, oh, how about make a DVD? And then you need like a director and cameraman. Like I was not the cameraman of these shoots, but being there multiple times, just doing the project management, helped me of course see how Japanese photographers direct them. And now I've seen like 20 different Japanese photographers and videographers, how they work with the models. Of course I was observing it very sharply, so I know exactly, oh, this is how they take it, that's how the models like to be taken, like the photos being taken, because of even that is different. Beauty standards and like the perfect photo or like video is different from like models in Japan and even from models in Taiwan, China, and like especially much different from models in Europe or America. Or for example, in Japan, the skin needs to be lightened up a lot, and then the face
very
is smaller
and
to
shiny.
the body in comparison to the body, and many things that are important here to take care of in editing, after editing, but also when taking the photo. And those kind of things, we took about like 10 different DVDs now. We have different models, these are all, by the way, these are all 15 plus, so you can buy them when you're 15.
All right.
But this one was,
if you're not 15, don't look at this.
like this one, we even took in the office. That's at the window over there.
Oh wait, this is that office?
Yeah.
Oh boys, I'm gonna sit over there.
It's a pretty crazy story, yeah.
Wow.
So we did those kind of
That's
things.
fantastic. So we can actually bought this here in Tokyo.
Yeah, on Amazon, or
Nice.
we also have a shop where we sell all of these abroad. So
Oh great. Okay, of course we're gonna leave that in the description of this video and everywhere around, so you
hopefully
can
it won't
find
get banned.
this.
It's graviakit.com. Yeah.
Okay.
So you can find all the products.
Easy to do,
digital and
easy to get.
physical.
What was your best experience and your worst experience related to this business?
of course, working with so many different models and people that you only see in like on the screen, and like of course they are very beautiful and attractive and cute, but behind every face there's a character in person.
Yeah, of course.
And of course some of them might be different in person than you would imagine. Maybe not as sweet as you imagine, or
So
maybe
you-
the exact opposite. Just to be clear,
Really?
you know, there's definitely people you like working with more and less.
Yeah. So you felt
And-
disappointed with some actresses that you work?
I mean, yeah, but
Oh, yeah,
of course,
yeah,
like working so many people, like
Yeah, of
it's
course.
of course there's always a percentage of chance. Like I'm trying my best, you know, to just keep a good relationship, but there's definitely some where I think like, oh, I wouldn't like to be friends. I can say
Yeah.
like, you know, the craziest experience or like
Okay, crazy
is
experience.
like as like from a business perspective, we are very very careful, you know, about like. You know, we take our distance. We also, when we ask them, oh, can you do this post, this or that? You know, some do more, some less. Some, you, for example, it's very typical. You eat like a banana in
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
idle, but some don't want to do this.
Okay.
Like, you know, but some are just posing, and some are doing even more than that. And we take our, of course, our distance. But then, like this one time, it can just like, a random time. It happened like maybe 2 times or so, or 3 times, different view. But working with like with models that are more on the adult side or
Yeah.
doing more erect content, like usually there's like a stylist, like a female stylist or
Yeah.
makeup artist. But this one time the model just called me in the changing room. She said, "Tristan, come over," and like I went in,
Really?
and she's completely naked, like just standing there, and say, "Oh, can you help me put this on?" Like, and it was like, okay, like. Well, sure, yeah, sure, and I like can
Sure,
yeah,
why
I have
not?
to- I have to
You
do
know,
it.
if a beautiful woman calls you into a dressing room, you do not say no. You say, "What do you need?" Right?
Yeah, so I mean, definitely happens a lot. You have to like fix something, but even then, I'm trying to like be very polite because you have to
Yeah,
stay
of course,
professional, especially during the shoot.
Yeah, of course.
But then, like, of course, that was like when I felt, oh, okay, that's like a little bit like too open. I don't know.
Holy
I'm
shit.
used to all of this, so for me, it's not like I see that like every
Every
week.
day, every week.
So for me, it's like nothing special. But yeah, definitely. That was
Wow.
like the first time that happened was definitely where
Yeah.
like, oh, okay. So they would ask me to help them put this on.
Off the camera. Have
Yeah.
any of the girls said any time like, "Hey, Tristan, maybe we can go for a drink or something."
Oh, I mean, you know, let me ask this: if you work with so many models and you are the boss of the company and you have all these models and you work with them, like, what do you think?
My man. Okay.
I mean, the point is like, it's very important for me to stay 100% professional.
Yeah, of
in,
course,
in that
of course.
in that way that like I would never from my side like suggest.
So you
things.
always like expect from the other side to be the first move.
Yeah, and if I'm not very serious about it, because if I go the step and would ask one of the models out or any person I work with or model out, I would only do it if I'm really serious with that person. I really like her, and I just want to see like, oh, can
Like
we
a
maybe
relationship
become,
type.
yeah, can it be some kind of relationship? Yeah. That would be the only case where I would initiate it from myself, because of course there's so many women. I don't have to, eat where I work.
Yeah. Okay.
So, but at the same time, yeah, imagining
Of
your
course,
own
of course.
thing,
That takes me to a very big deal here in Japan. Tatemae. How big you think it is? How dangerous you think
Oh,
it
I mean,
is?
it's the biggest thing. Like, it's the most
It's the
important
biggest thing.
Yeah,
Okay,
of
okay.
course. One thing, like, it sounds very weird, and it's it shouldn't be okay. But I say if you don't drink alcohol, it's difficult to live in Japan. It's difficult to think about living here and
All
becoming
right.
like, because to get this business running, I had to drink, like, I need another liver.
Really?
Like having those meetings with all the business partners. First of all, you cannot have a business relationship without going to drink with your business partners, because that's where you show your honne. Because the tatemae is like how you act in business, polite, formal. You talk about, the business and percentage and how you deal with things and how you organize your resources. But after drinks, you would talk about, hey, who's your favorite model? Yeah. Like oh,
everything.
you like golf? Like, me too. Like, oh, what do you do? Like, should we go for more drinks? What kind of alcohol do you like? Like, it's those kind of talks that you have after the tatemae breaks.
Yeah.
And it only works really with alcohol, and that's the same for business, friendships, and relationships. Like,
Okay.
It's not to be. It don't need to be drunk, right? It's just one drink, and then they
Yeah.
are more open already.
exactly. Yeah, I mean, people,
It's
many
like a
people here
excuse,
don't
right?
drink
It's
that
something like
much.
an
Yeah, so you can pretend that you break apart. Like it doesn't have to be like forced. You don't have to drink so much so you don't know what you're saying. But of course the true self of yours will come out more if you had a few drinks, and that's what people take advantage here. It's the same with friends. So all friends go together to izakaya to get to know each other more. Same with like relationships. So after you meet a girl 1 or 2 times, so like a casual date, I don't know, for lunch or just go shopping, and then you want something more serious or want to get laid, you know, you have to get some drinks to talk about more like, more intimate stuff, get the spicy, talks going on. So you both have some drinks, and then the girl will be like, oh yeah, like, the last train went apart. There's also, I could tell you all these like obvious signs, where it's oh, when the girl says these things, like, oh, it's like, okay, like, I know what's going to happen next.
All right.
But like, it's definitely, drinking is so important for all 3 of these. You can, of course, probably manage without, but I'm just saying, like, if you like drinking and if you're okay with having a few drinks, not like crazy, but like whenever it's needed, like whenever there's a social situation, people here appreciate that, because Japanese people are alcoholics in relationships or marriage, cheating. So cheating is a big topic, but first of all, okay, everything might sound a bit drastic, but first of all, Japan is another culture. First of all, forget everything like, the standards, like stereotypes that, like, in, for example, your kind, of course, in Europe as well, like you get married, you have one partner, you're loyal, you won't like, distrust them, disrespect them, don't go with other people, and everything is combined, like your physical and your mental state are one, like it's one unit. Whereas in Japan, there's the big perception, like, I think statistically, 90% of all guys cheat, but cheating is this one thing where, for example, if a man has no emotional or like mental, like, on like a higher level spiritual connection with another girl while being in a relationship or married, but still has sexual intercourse with another girl, like physical contact, in many cases it's not considered cheating.
Yes.
So cheating is the line where you would date someone, like seriously, like see the same person again and again and again while you are in a marriage or relationship.
Yes.
From this kind of relationship that the guy goes to different girls, but it's not really cheating. But then like he still has makeup. If he cannot please his main girl in a physical way, women can also cheat.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say this on camera, but man, I mean, some girls that I took to a hotel, they were married, like, or whatever. Like,
but that happens. But that happens.
Probably.
Yeah.
Let's say probably. I don't want to get myself in trouble. Just from
Well, I have a friend here, a Japanese friend. She's a friend from a long time ago, and we went have dinner the other day.
Yeah.
And she's about to get married.
Yeah.
And one of the things that calls my attention the most is that she openly admit to me that it's very, very common in Japan for a woman to cheat on their husbands because, and this is the most like mind-blowing for me.
Yeah.
So essentially what she said, and you might confirm to me, is when Japanese people get married with each other, let's say with each other, let's not talk about foreigners right now. Yeah. So when they get married to each other, essentially what they are choosing to do is to share lives for like until they have kids. Briefly, let's take that idea.
Well, yeah.
And after they have kids, it's like a second part of a marriage begin. And this new part of a marriage is when they start like breaking apart a little bit in terms of their personal relationship, and they start going sideways into like the mom with the kid and the husband who works. We already did what you have to do. We are married, we have the kid, that's it. Now you come work from late, I'm here with the kid, so we love each other, but we don't have sex with each other. And our relationship is diminishing because you work so much that we don't talk. So because we don't talk and because we don't have sex, so eventually both of us are gonna do something elsewhere. But the thing about this is not that it happens, it's that it's supposed to happen. Like this is what they think is okay, and this is what they think is normal. Like she told me, all my friends are the same.
But
all of them.
It also,
that was like, holy what?
Yeah, I mean, I've talked to a lot of people, but as you said, I think like that's like common, and many people think like that. But of course, there's also a lot of like different like
decided and alternatives.
Yeah, alternatives right now, especially maybe I don't know generational, like what age she was.
Yeah,
but
about her age, 34.
Okay, but it makes definitely a difference. Like, you know, now girls in their 20s, they want more romantical things. But of course, maybe everybody wants that, but it's like somehow of like a fairy tale for many people. And I feel like too many people force themselves into marriages here. And this is my biggest concern.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like I see so many girls, and I can already tell, they're going to, that won't work. Because they don't even know the guy. They just met him for 3 times, or like dating for 3 months.
Yes.
Like, you know, if I live together with a girl and date a girl for like 4, 5, 6 years, and it's good, then I know, okay, we can probably stay the rest of our life together. Yeah. But if it's just like a few months, like, you know, usually it's just like ridiculous. Now, of course, that won't work, but also the times you can create in-depth relationships like that is, of course, not that common. Like, usually dating, or like how actually to meet a partner, like there's only so many options, you know. You get introduced to like a friend at work. You can use applications, like Japanese people, like, you know, there's of course Tinder, Bumble, but Japanese people have like these serious apps like Omiai or Pairs, where you put in how much you earn. Because
have you used?
Oh yes, yeah. Pairs I use, but you have to pay $50 a month. Like, it's ridiculously high. Wow. But the success rate is high, but it's more like serious. And then like the craziest thing was this girl so many years ago I dated from also like an app. I think it was actually Pairs. She was cute. She was younger than me. Like, and then we dated, and it was so good. Like, obviously, like we liked each other. Then I asked her, "Oh, you want to be my girlfriend?" And she was so happy. Like, yes, but, you know, I actually thinking of marrying in the next like half a year or so, like latest next year. Can you imagine that? And then I think I need a little bit of time to think about it. And of course I said, no, sorry. Like it's just crazy. No way. Like
Japanese people, no? They plan everything.
But it was weird because she spoke native level English. She was so educated. Like, she doesn't even need a man, let's say. She works in a good company, makes a lot of money. But still, she had this kind of feeling she must marry, like
mentality.
Like,
a lot come from society and parents. Like, you have to be married, and that's why sometimes they rush into it, and they obviously doesn't work because they're not marrying because they're in love. They're marrying because they should marry, and that's another.
And that's like, you know, this phase, and then as you said, and then like there's like maybe after kids, or maybe they never had kids because like so many like heartbreaks that like when women are like 30 plus here in Japan. Like, that's where they will actually look for like a good true partner. But like, of course, it will get late because successful men in their 30s, 40s that are really successful in life, they will look for younger girls.
Exactly, yeah, of course.
Like, you know, and for them it's easy. They marry a younger girl, they have money, it's no problem.
Do you think that it's possible to have a true monogamic relationship in Japan? Like, one that is actually loving and caring?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Really? It's same as everywhere. And let's be honest, there's many people abroad that also cheat.
Of course.
And 100%. It's not working. Or, like, let's say, it can be, like, open. I feel, of course, it's possible. And, you know, right person, like, the right people together. But it's usually, it's not that common. And, but it's definitely possible.
Are you looking for something like that sometime?
Oh, of course. But right now, not, because my company, like, the main goal is to build this up. I'm really ambitious about building this bigger and bigger and bigger. That's why after my breakup last year, I decided to, you know, like, just hardcore, just focus on a company. So usually also I just sleep here on the sofa.
Really?
Like, I could just try to grind as much as I can to get more, like, clients and models to work with and increase the business until we make millions and millions.
Nice. That's my man. That's my man right here. Nice.
Let's go. And until this is the case, you know, I will just I won't look for that. Okay. And I think like good things in life might just happen, you know. Like maybe if I do all of this, the right woman will catch, you know, it's often of course, you know, that as a man, like I would also like a girl to fall in love with me and maybe like, you know, like what I do and respect it, and then, you know, we get to know each other from there, and then we like each other. Maybe something like this happens would be good. But I think to do so, you have to be the perfect self. Be the best of yourself, because then you will attract somebody who is like worthy of your best self. And being the best self, you know, will also bring you a better partner for life, I think, you know. Otherwise, if you're just faking everything and just doing like something, but not the best that you can, you might not find the perfect partner. So for me, it's just like, focusing on that. And I can't complain,
Fantastic.
I have some of these models around me. The work is good.
Enjoying the life, man. What do you think is the best way if you're like, let's say not a new person, but someone who's been here for maybe a few months to a couple of years, to actually date one of those beauties out there?
Right. I mean, that's if it's just
because a lot of people talk about nampa, but
definitely.
But what do you think is like? How do you meet those girls? Where did you get those girls?
Right. I think nampa in general definitely works. It depends how good you are, how much riz you have.
Okay,
it's all up to your riz and like how good your Japanese is.
What's your best pickup line? Your best pickup line.
The best pickup line. Should I give it? I can't give it
in
away
Japanese,
here.
in
I
Japanese.
can't give it away here.
Okay, in the next chapter.
Off camera.
Off camera.
Even though my Japanese is pretty decent, to just pretend I can't speak Japanese.
Okay.
And just talk in English,
I've been told that.
like,
I've been
be a
told
little
that.
bit confused, like ask, and then they'll be like, oh, can I help you? Like, and then
Really?
you get to talk, but then suddenly you show off your Japanese, like not even directly
Surprising.
to her, maybe to the staff or something, and then you still talk English to her, and she'll be confused what's going on, and then she's curious about it. Like, there's definitely some strategies, but honestly. Like, of course, there's these places where you could go with lots of bars and izakaya. And there's, like, a lot of places where, of course, many Japanese women go that want to maybe date or talk to foreigners. Like a hub or something, it's very famous. But there's different areas. Like, Shinjuku is good. I think, like, personally, I like Ebisu or Ginza a lot. There's also so many bars, so many opportunities there. And but honestly, and I think I'm not doing it so much, but I hear stories from other people, and I think it will work if you're just on the street, no matter where it is. But it can't be like on the walk, but like a bakery, whatever, and you see a beautiful woman,
and just go over there.
Honestly, just go and say something, and be confident. And maybe just try to make her laugh and like try to get in, like ask her what she's, and if she's comfortable, like you of course will know like if she doesn't really want to talk.
Yeah, of course.
But if she's like surprised or wants to talk to you, you can like say something funny, introduce yourself, say what you're doing here, or like talk about her, say that she looks beautiful, and then just ask for her line or Instagram and say like, oh, can we have lunch together, or eat right there? I don't know, just have lunch, whatever is possible. And you will regret if you don't do it. If it's like the most beautiful girl you've seen, you should always just do it.
It has been very famous across the world, rent a girlfriend kind of thing, right? There's a lot of YouTube videos about it.
Right.
But recently we find rent a family.
Yeah.
And honestly, I thought it was crazy. Like, what are you talking about? And actually, I taught this to my Japanese friend, and she said like, oh yeah, it's super normal, like everybody does it. I was like, what?
Yeah.
And so, do you know what it is? Have you ever know someone who used it? What do you think about it?
I've never seen anyone personal who used it, but I just heard from like cases that you would like. First of all, if you're lonely, if you grow up without a father figure or mother figure, like many people, because emotional support they'll get from no one. You can go to like a hostess bar or host club, maybe they will give you some emotional support, listen to your problems, but nobody else gives a about it. But like these families, they will pretend to be actual mother or father or sister or brother, so you can like fill a gap. This is one big part. But also what I heard is that you book such family members for events. For example, let's say you don't have family, but you have a wedding. Yeah. And then like the guy has no family in real life, like they maybe passed away, so he buys himself basically like a fake family to attend the wedding and celebrate with them. And sometimes he will book the same people over and over again. Yes. And also maybe to pretend to other people. Yes. Or like, for example, let's say you I don't know, there was this case where you cheat on like your girlfriend or something, and then you hire a woman like that is that girlfriend, so that your actual girlfriend can scream and be angry at the rented girlfriend. What? Yeah. It's fucked up.
Only in Japan segment.
Yeah, and you hire people to apologize. For example, you need to apologize, right? You don't want to. You hire a fake father, and you pay extra, and the father goes to that
person
and
to
will throw
apologize?
himself on the ground and apologize and say, "I'm sorry for my son. It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace for the family." But it's not the actual father. Yeah, that's real.
Wow.
It's absolutely real. That's the
Oh,
most
shit.
used case. Like, that's,
apologize.
of course, you just use them for situations you don't want to bother with. I have money. Like, I just buy myself like a file to apologize for me. Like,
What do you like the most about living in Japan?
the most. One thing that I realized that I really like, and it's just my personality, and everybody could be different, it's just the peace of mind. And this also sounds, maybe people don't like me for this or sound controversial, but I don't like arguing and too many opinions and too much like political talk and everything, like, you know, what is it, like, you know, like about sex, money, political, like talking about like problems, issues. In Japan, nobody does that. People are more like stoic in a way that everybody lives for themselves and everybody endures and nobody has to talk about their issues and problems and opinions so much, which many people like criticize. Oh, you can, what the fuck are you saying, Tristan? Like, people are so unhappy and society and they just suppressing their emotions. Yeah, but at the same time, nobody's complaining. No, I have never seen met a woman saying, "Oh, I want more rights for women, like we need to be more equal." And I've never seen a man like say like, "Oh, we are oppressed, we don't this and that, and we too overworked." Nobody complains.
So basically everybody does their thing, they do their job, they don't complain, and they move on.
Yeah, and they just enjoy the small things in life.
Yeah.
Like having drinks, like eating good food, like having your hobbies, playing games, anime, finding just some people around you that give you pleasure in life, just being happy with simple things and don't concerning with like problems that are not your problems. It's like the way of how Japan's society works and how people think here.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of strength.
Yeah.
Like, people criticize, but it's strength, you know. Like, a woman gets touched on a train, which is like, of course, you know, it's a crime, so you can of course say chikang. But like, I know like some people would be traumatized for like weeks, but the girls I met in Japan, like most of them, it happened to them, which is also sad, you know. That those kinds of things happen so frequently, but they would say, like, I'm over it, like it happened, like I wish I have caught him or something, like because many of them get caught and it's a big punishment, of course, how it should be. But like they don't like think about it anymore. It's okay, it's over. Like it's like the same with everything. If like something bad happens, you endure it, you just move on. Like it's sometimes it's extreme.
They let things go a little bit faster, and that helps them.
Exactly.
Like,
don't
move on,
clinch
right?
to like negative things or, you know, like your opposing problems, because if you conflict, there's not so much conflict in Japan, you know, when compared to other countries. Everybody's in conflict around the world, but in Japan, like, you go on the streets, there's no conflict, and this is good for me.
Is that applied to relationships too?
Yeah.
Like avoiding conflict in relationship could lead to a bad
but you have
relationship?
to. Okay, now it's another topic. Kuki o yomu, to read the air, is the most important power and skill you need to learn in Japan, especially for a relationship.
Yeah. Okay.
Because in a relationship, you won't tell each other, "I like this about you," or this about that. You have to like read the air, kind of like, "Oh yeah, maybe I messed up. I have to like solve it," and apologize a lot. Even if you think it's not your fault, just apologize.
I'm sorry, just in case.
Yeah, just in case. Apologize to everyone and everything and throw your pride away. Even if it was not you, just fucking apologize.
Okay.
Say I'm sorry. Like, doesn't matter. Like, maybe it's your mistake in your relationship.
Yeah.
You still say, "Oh, I'm sorry." Like, I'm sorry. That will
By the way, I'm sorry.
That'll be enough. Save everything.
Okay.
Just saying sorry is such
Okay.
so important in Japan.
Okay.
And
good
most of
advice.
the things you will not think about, like, "Oh, should I have apologized?" No, just apologize. If you even think about, "Oh, should I have apologized?" Apologize. It's so important. It's so powerful. It will save every business relationship, almost every business relationship, and almost every relationship. Just think about that. You have much more advantages as a foreigner.
Yeah.
Because I can mess up like a lot.
Yes.
And I'll be forgiven. I just play the gaijin card. And then whenever I need to, I filmed without permission or did something like that would be so bad if I would be Japanese. I was, sorry, I didn't know. I will go. I'm sorry. And they would be like, Jam,
Yeah. Okay, the last two things.
Okay.
What is the thing you hate the most about living in Japan?
Right.
It has to have some bad things.
Hate is a very strong word.
Okay.
Because, like,
Don't
hate,
dislike.
some rules are very complicated and everything has their own rules, which is a good and a bad thing. I can just say, like, for example, the other day I went to this bathhouse, and I usually go there. It's until 1 a.m. It's like you have the sauna course, which is like 1,000 yen. But if you go in at 23:59, like 1 minute before midnight, it's 1,000 yen. If you go at 1 minute, like it doesn't even matter, just 1 minute, and I was literally 2 minutes late. After that, you have to pay double the price, even if you're staying until 1 a.m. It doesn't make sense. Like you're staying less, but suddenly you have to pay double, and it's just this one bathhouse. There's these kind of ridiculous rules, but I think that could be in any country, you know, like just coming up with ridiculous rules, but like, you know, just they don't like even care about losing customers. It sometimes baffles me.
Talking about that, like silly rules. We went to a meetup event.
Yeah.
And I was this close to start arguing heavily with the owner, but I contained myself because I was like, it's not worth it. So we got in. There's this table with a rules letter that I already read the day before because I went the day before. So I passed through, I signed up like I'm coming again, and I asked a drink. And everything was fine. I was alongside with him, but at the very moment they handed me the drink, and I literally passed through a line, the owner told me, okay, grab the drink and go upstairs, and I was like, okay, but I'm waiting my friend, right, because we're together, and he was two steps away from me, and the owner said, okay, but do not talk to your friend.
What do you mean?
Exactly. I was like, what do you mean? He was like, you cannot talk to your friend because he is at the registration stage and you already passed the registration stage. he haven't read the rules.
Well, this is also the first time I heard it.
He haven't read the rules of the place.
Yeah.
So because you are inside the place, you cannot talk to him.
What kind of meetup are you guys going to?
And I was,
this is some secret society thing, like some secret fetish party.
I looked, and when he passed through,
then you could finally.
Then I could finally talk to him. It was like literally like just being here and you there,
be more patient, you know.
Wow.
Japan tries to, you know, discipline, patience.
Wow. It will challenge you. It will challenge you.
But this maybe, and there's some small things like there's no garbage bins, but you get used to everything. So for me, I think I'm happy here.
Okay. One piece of advice for somebody out there dreaming to come here.
If you really want it, you just need to come. Because the first step is the most difficult. Like coming here is like a leap of faith. You come here and you don't know what's going to happen, obviously. But you have to do this first step. Otherwise, nothing is going to change. Like you will just be there thinking, oh, maybe I should come. And I see many people, like, you know, from also my studying days, and some of them probably would love to live here, but nobody goes the step. Like, there's like, I don't know what would like
go the extra mile, right?
Consequences, just do the first step. Just do it. If you feel it inside of you, you want to go to Japan, just go.
If you want to be like him, just come to Japan.